back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Dani, and if you are returning, I'm so happy to have you back. Today we're going to be talking about a very highly requested sunless tanner review. I am in my bedroom in front of my vanity light after my little one went down, so that's why the looks a little bit different, I suppose. We're looking a little rough. I did put on some lip gloss though, at least, so that's good. So a little bit of background. I have tried probably over 20 different sunless tanners. For the sake of this video, we're only going to cover 12. 12 of kind of my higher ones that I really enjoy, and a couple of them that I just wouldn't spend money on. Tiny bit of background. I did tanning beds when I was younger. Did not think I need sunscreen. I obviously am very fair skinned, so that made zero sense. And ended up with melanoma at age 21. Had to have extensive surgery. There's a 10-inch scar, about this big, across my back, and about a 6-inch scar down my calf of melanoma that had to be removed. And luckily they were able to get it all, so I didn't have to undergo any kind of treatment. I'm very blessed in that factor. But after that surgery specifically, I was very much more aware of my skin and how to take care of it, and I am here to be an advocate for those of you who are kind of going down the same path. So that is my background of why I'm experienced enough to talk about sunless tanners in the first place. So I hope you can take my word for it, because I am now 30, so that's 9 years of trying sunless tanners, because we all like that sun-kissed glow. And let's be honest, I'm a cheer coach, and just in the cheer and dance world, you're just around sprayed hands all the time, so why not? And I'm just nicer when I'm tan, so that's where we're gonna go with that one. So for the sake of this video, and I can jump right in really quick here, I rated these self tanners out of 10, and of those, out of that 10, how I rated them was the color of the product, how well the color stays on, or how well the color develops, and or the color range in general, the longevity of the self tanner, how long it lasts and how it fades, the price of the self tanner, and then finally the smell, which is a big one. If you've ever had a fake tan or a spray tan, they do not smell very good. So I have found a few products that if that smell really bothers you, I have a lot that you can use instead. I have quite a few of them here in front of me that I'm going to show you like what the bottle looks like, but there's a few of them that I've run out of that I don't have the bottle with me, but I'll put in a clip so you can see the bottle of it and what it looks like. All of my prices that I have are mostly from either Ulta or Sephora. I find it's easiest to find some of the not so common brands, but a few of them you can get at Target too, and I can go through and let you know which is which. So without further ado, this is going with saying too, applying your self tanner is probably the biggest. A lot of people don't get really good results because they don't know how to apply it. Now, I don't have any self tanner on right now because I was actually going to do a self tanner routine. So to go along with this video, so you can kind of see how I apply my self tan and how I get those results and the longevity of them. So if you're interested in seeing how I apply it, let me know. But obviously you're going to have varying opinions on all of these self tanners based on how it's applied, what your skin type is, the underlying tones of your skin, so if you're more rosy or if you're more yellow or any of those things. So all of those play into a factor, but I kind of just did a very basic overview general of, regardless of your skin type, this is kind of how it works. Now, my skin type is very fair, very, very fair, very rosy undertones, and pretty textured. I have very textured skin. I have acne, those types of things, and not just body, but on the face too. So that's the background there. It really just depends on how you apply your product. I have found kind of a foolproof way of applying it over the past few years, but I will go ahead and do that in another video if you're interested in seeing it. If you don't care, I mean, you don't care, but without further ado, let's jump in. All right, so we are gonna start at the top. So I'm gonna show you my absolute favorites and then kind of go down the line from there. So this is the only self-tanner I have, and I keep referencing my list here just so I can make sure I'm giving you the proper information. It's my only one that I have a 10 out of 10. So the first one and the best one, my love, is Loving Tan. And this is a mousse, and I should have said too in the beginning, some of these are mousse, some of them are lotions. I prefer a mousse, and I apply the mousse with a tanning mitt. Again, I can go into further detail on that, but it's just my preference. So Loving Tan is the only one that I'm giving a 10 out of 10 for. First of all, the smell, there is none. It smells heavenly. It smells like the beach. 2, it is the longest lasting tan that I have yet to find. The price point, this is $35 for this tube, and I probably can get 12, at least 12 to 14 full applications of it. And usually it lasts about a week for this particular mousse. It's a professional strength, it's quick dry, it does not transfer onto my clothing, onto my sheets, onto anything, it does not wipe off. And it is a gradual, so after about 4 hours you'll start to see the color, but you do get instant color right away, so you can kind of see where you're applying it. So again, this is Loving Tan. I get it in dark because that's just what I prefer. Even though I have fair skin, the rosy undertones kind of complements it, and it ends up looking very, very natural. The color is not orangey, it is not streaky. But if you're worried about it being too orange, there are 3 different other shade ranges, and there's also an express one. So you'll get this deep dark color in about 2 hours. I find the express tanners end up looking a little bit more fake on me. So I don't prefer them, but I know a lot of people that do. This particular mousse is very, very highly rated. I absolutely love it. If I'm gonna spend money on a tanner, 150% is gonna be Loving Tan all the time. Next up, we have the Bondi Sands. This is this is a tanning foam or a mousse. I get it in the color dark. And I give Bondi Sands a 9 out of 10. This is a very close second to the Loving Tan. I have not found another mousse that I love quite as much as a Loving Tan, but the Bondi Sands is one. This straight up just smells like coconuts. So scent there is at the top of the list. This is at a lower price point than Loving Tan at $25. So it's about $10 cheaper. This particular one is only 3 fluid ounces because I hadn't tried this one yet, and so I just went online to find a travel size or a smaller version of it, which I highly recommend you do. If any of these products have a travel size and or a smaller sample size, just buy that first and see which one you like, so you don't have to go and spend a ton of money on a whole bottle of something that you're not going to use. So anywho, that was a tangent, side note. So this is, again, smell, awesome. Price point obviously is really, really great. The color on this is fantastic. It is like an instant color. And it is I'm trying to remember. Oh, this one you can wash, yeah, that's right. You can wash this one off after 1 hour, or you can keep it on to make it darker. I personally like to keep it darker, so I keep it on for at least, I never shower. I usually just leave it on overnight. I know it says like 6 to 8 hours. I like to leave it on completely overnight and then rinse it off in the morning. I feel like that gives me the best tan, but again, I can go into that when I go into the tanning routine. So longevity of this one, not quite as long as Loving Tan, but still very long, and I feel like it stays darker for longer. It does not fade as fast. And the color in and of itself is fantastic. So a second to Loving Tan, 9 out of 10 is the Bondi Sands Self Tanning Foam. They have quite a few of these on the throughout their line that works better, and I do think they have quite a few more shade ranges than Loving Tan. But Bondi Sands, 9 out of 10, second on my list. Okay, next up on my list is the Tanologist. This is a tanning mousse, but it is water, so it goes on clear. So that's a little bit different than the other ones, but still very similar. I give this one also is an 8 out of 10. I was very, 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 very highly surprised at the quality of this. This is a gradual tanner, so it does take a little bit longer than the other ones to develop, but again, I just do it, I keep it on overnight, so to me, it doesn't really matter. But you have, with increased time, you have an increased tan. So if you want a little bit of a darker color, you keep it on longer. This one does not smell as good as the other ones, but still is okay. It does have a very moisturizing feel. A lot of self tanners can make you very dry. This one is very, very moisturizing. And this one really did the job for me. So 8 out of 10 on this one. This one is $16, I think, or $17. You can get it right at Target. They have a whole line of light, medium, dark, and then they also have the tanning drops for the face. I don't use that. I'll go into full detail about that with the tanning routine. But the longevity of this is not as long as the other two, but again, for your price point, it's wonderful. And at how many ounces? Almost 7 fluid ounces of this. It's gonna last you a lot longer even than the other ones, because their other ones, the Loving Tan is only 4 fluid ounces. So you get 2 more fluid ounces for a little bit cheaper. Gradual tanner. I really, really liked this. This one did transfer a little bit, and as it faded, it kind of faded a little bit splotchy. But again, fading splotchiness probably has a lot to do with how you applied it in the first place and how your skin's reacting to it. So 8 out of 10, Tanologist. You can get this from Target. Next up is the Tarte Brazilians Plus. Now this is not a mousse, this is a lotion, but I love Tarte in general. I use their foundations, their blushes, they're just my favorite. So this one is, you have to wait quite a bit longer to see the tan, but the smell is phenomenal. It does not smell like a self-tanner. With lotions, you're gonna have a little bit of a different consistency, and I feel like you don't have as deep of a color. However, the smell, and if you prefer lotions, it is incredibly hydrating. Tarte Brazilians, it gets an 8 out of 10 for me. The color is phenomenal. It's just a little bit more of an inconvenience if you're looking for a quick solution or a quick tan, because you have to wait a little bit longer for this one to develop. But again, I just let it go overnight, so to me, the time it takes for the tanner to work is not a factor. This one is at the top of the list there, pretty much at $39. So it is a little bit more expensive, but it is a pretty big bottle. How many? Oh, 5.5 fluid ounces. So not quite as much as your mousse, but I feel like it lasts for quite a long time, and there's like the color there. Woohoo! It just smells like the beach. I just want to go. So 8 out of 10 for me. It doesn't fade as noticeable because it is a lotion. I feel with lotions as opposed to mousses, you have how it fades is a little bit more natural. So Tarte Brazilians. The next one I'm going to talk about is a St. Moritz. I don't have the bottle with me, but you can get it at Ulta. It's kind of a dupe for St. Tropez. I loved the St. Moritz, and it gets an 8 out of 10 for me. One, because again, it is a dupe for St. Tropez, and St. Tropez is pretty expensive. The St. Moritz, I don't know if I'm even saying it right, is only $13 at Ulta, and I feel it is a wonderful, wonderful dupe. The only thing with the St. Maurice, it does, after a while, it gets a little bit of a bluish tint in the bottle, so you have to just make sure that you're paying attention to how long you've had it. It is a mousse. It is a dark color. How it fades, I didn't have any issues with how it fades. However, it was pretty drying. So for me, St. Maurice was a really, really good dupe for St. Tropez. And the only reason I'm getting it higher than St. Tropez is because the price. Like, sometimes you just cannot pay $40 to $50 to $60 a bottle for a self tanner. So when you can get the same results for a little bit cheaper. 8 out of 10 for me. Sorry, I don't have the bottle. I'll pretend. Here you go. Up next is the Tanned AF from B.Tan. Now this one is probably the best bang for your buck. This is a mousse. It is $10 at Walmart, and they have quite a few on the line of this. This is a 1 hour, so you'll see these results in 1 hour. I give this one like a 7.5 out of 10, just because I'm particular about certain things. This one, the smell was really, really strong for me. And I don't feel like the color was not great on me. But again, maybe I need to try the lighter colors of this brand, and maybe not the darkest, but I'll probably try it a few more times. I have noticed though, and this was pointed out by another friend of mine, that this particular sunless tanner lasts really well if you're going to be around the pool a lot. So if you're going on vacation where you're going to be in the pool, it really does well with chlorine. This one did fade very splotchy for me. And again, the color was not awesome. That's why I give it a 7.5. A lot of people have a lot of really, really good things to say about this one. So I think I just need to try a different shade, and I think it will be great. $10, you cannot beat it. So really it probably should be an 8, right? Because the price is just unbelievable. Oh, and the longevity of it, I feel like it lasted about as long as any of the other ones for me. So about a week. So it's pretty good. So Tanned AF by B.Tan gets a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Okay, moving on. So a 7 for me is I have 2 products that I gave a 7. So Tropez is the 7 that I gave. I have a really, really, really hard time with Tropez. I don't know why. My skin just does not take to it. Again, I don't have the bottle with me, but I'll put it here. And at a whopping $45 for 5.5 ounces of product, there are other products that are cheaper and more effective than Tropez, in my opinion. It's very popular as far as the self-tanner community goes, so I think you're paying more for the name than you are for the product, in my opinion. Still a good product. It does have very, very good color. How long it takes for it to develop, it's very, very good too. I like the consistency of the formula, but again, it only lasted a couple days for me, and I felt like I had to constantly reapply it, and at $45 a bottle, I don't want to do that. I want my tan to last longer. So really not bang for your buck. It's kind of a waste of money in my opinion, but still a very good product, really good consistency, very good color, streak-free. But you can get a lot better for a lot less, in my opinion. So, Tropez, 7 out of 10 for me. Product I'm giving a 7 out of 10 for was my very first go-to sunless tanner, and this was years and years and years ago. This is Banana Boat Summer Color. They have a different packaging now, but I had so many of these. I did the deep dark color, but I also had the lighter one too. At only $8 for 6 fluid ounces. This is awesome. It really is a really, really good tanner. It develops very quickly. It is streak free, but the reason why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, even though the price is awesome and this was my go-to, you guys, I used this for years. I'm not kidding you, years. It was my go-to. I absolutely loved it. Was because the color was pretty orange. No matter if I did the dark or the medium, just on my skin tone, it was very, very orangey. And then I found the likes of an actual mousse and I preferred it. So some people, a lotion is their go-to and it is awesome. And honestly, if you're on a budget, this is gonna be the best one for you. The only reason I gave it a 7 was because I don't like lotions very much anymore. The smell is a little bit strong. The color is a little bit off for me just because I found other brands that I prefer more. But the longevity is great. It's not streaky. So if you're more olive complected, this is probably gonna work really well for you. But again, I mean, for $2 more, you can get this B.Tan mousse, and it's a ton better. So lotion, mousse, you can find them both at Walmart, but this is why I give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, next up I have 2 other products that I give a 6 out of 10. The first one is Sublime Bronze by Loreal, and this is a self-tanner water. So this is a clear one, so you can't see it when it goes on. I did the medium one in this one. The only reason I'm not giving it a higher score is because it was just meh for me. Like, I didn't really like the color. The longevity was fine, smelled like a sunless tanner. It was very, very hydrating though, and it was pretty natural looking, but it was really, really light for me. So perhaps if I tried the darker one, but again, for a little bit more, this one or even the Bondi Sands with $20, like this is, I would rather spend, you know, with the Sublime Bronze one it's 15. So for $5 more, I can get this product that's gonna be a million times better. So if you can't order this or don't have time to go to Ulta and you just have to pick it up from the drugstore for a quick little shindig, it's fine, but it's just meh for me. So 6 out of 10 for Sublime Bronze. Sorry if you're a big fan, I'm not. Okay, moving on to my next 6 out of 10, and I'm probably gonna get so much hate for this, is Tanologist. You guys, Tanologist is so expensive. In my opinion, it is great. It smells wonderful. But it's just so pricey at $50 for 6 fluid ounces. I just cannot justify spending that. It is very hydrating. The smell is fine, but $50, and for me, the color was very, very orangey. And again, take my opinion as you will. I've done this sunless tanners now for years and years and years, so most people are probably like, oh, you just picked the wrong shade or whatnot, but I didn't like it, and it faded very, very quickly, and I feel like for $50 a pop, your sunless tanner should last, because there are cheaper options that you can use, and I am not a fan. I wish I was a bigger fan. I know they do have, that's just my opinion. So Tanologist gets a 6 out of 10 for me, mostly because of price. It fades very fast, and I feel like you can get a better product for less, in my opinion. So now I have 2 products, neither one of them I have in front of me, I'm so sorry, that I gave a 5 out of 10, and that kind of wraps up this video. The first one is Jergens. A lot of people use it just as a natural gradual tanner, and that's fabulous. If you don't like the look of a fake tan, then Jergens is gonna be good for you, because it kind of keeps you colored all year round. I personally don't like the formula, and I don't like the smell of Jergens. I have tried a lot of the sunless tanners of Jergens, so the lotions, like the in-shower one, there's so many different ones you can get, and they kind of price range between like 10 and 20 bucks. So they're gonna be cheap, but if you're already naturally tan and you kind of want to even everything out, Jergens is a wonderful option for you, just not my personal preference, which is why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. But again, if you are giving it a 5 out of 10 because I am so pale, so for me, for $10, again, I refer back to this one because of the price point, for $10 I can actually look tan. Jergens for $13, I have to apply it for 4 weeks to even see a tinge of color. So it just doesn't work for really pale skin, in my opinion. But if you are darker complected, it really will even out your skin tone, and it'll probably be a good option for you. So last but not least, the Isle of Paradise, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this too. I did not like it at all. I actually ended up throwing it out because I just couldn't, I did not like it at all. So it comes in at about $30, and it is a water. They do have a lotion and a mousse, I do believe. I only tried the lotion, so maybe I'm wrong there. So they do come in a few different shade ranges. I thought I didn't see any difference. I had a little bit of color, so perhaps maybe I had the wrong shade, but again, it is a little pricey for me to see no different. I really didn't see much of a difference at all. I didn't get that deep dark tan color that I prefer. Color on Isle of Paradise was so. Again, I didn't see a huge, that deep dark color that I shoot for, but it wasn't terrible either. It transferred a lot. Like, I got it all over my clothes and my sheets, and I don't have that problem, so it's not an application problem, I can assure you. And it also was very sticky, in my opinion. It was like to the skin. Even after I washed it off, I felt a little bit sticky. So not a fan for me. At $30 for a lotion, there are other options for you out there if you're looking for that deep dark. But again, it is a very natural looking, so if you are already tan, it'll probably be a really good option for you. They do have the face tanner drops that go along with it that I've heard are wonderful. I don't use the face tanner drops. I don't tan my face. And I can go into that a little bit later too, but that's just my personal opinion. But the tanner drops for your face, I do hear, are fantastic, so go with it at your own risk there. So that wraps up my self tanner review. So probably my two favorites, again, my very top favorite, Loving Tan, Bondi Sands, Tanned AF are really good, and I can't hold them all, and the Tanologist. So all different price points, all different pros and cons based on what you want. I will always be in love with Loving Tan. I will always recommend it for as long as I live. It is the best self-tanner I've ever used. That was kind of the wrap up of an overview of all of my favorite self-tanners. Again, I am not a professional. I'm not a professional artist. This is just tried and true products based on what my skin type is and what I like. So I hope I was able to kind of provide you some information, whether it be a price point where you can get things, just some basic information about self-tanner. So I would love to do a video going along with this. That's why I don't have any self-tanner on, because I was hoping maybe to go through that and kind of how I apply my tan, how I get it to last longer, the products that I use that will probably help you make your tan last longer as well. Just to get a little more bang for your buck. And things that you can do kind of at home. You don't always have to go to pay to get a self-tan or a spray tan, if you will. Don't get me wrong, I love my spray tans, and if I get the option, I will go and do it. But there are options you can do at home based on your skin type and what you're looking for. But yeah, that's just my opinion of these self-tanners, and I hope it helped you. If you would like to see my self-tanner routine, leave me a comment. And let me know, because I want to just help. So if that would help you know how to, if you're kind of new to self-tanning, I would love to be able to help you with that. So leave me a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time, hopefully for a self-tanner routine. Bye.